Shalom. This is your Prime Minister, Keir Chicken-Starmer, and I would like to discuss in this briefing the situation on the British poultry. Now, it has been a resounding success, the inventory checks, the stock takes of poultry across this great nation of ours. The citizens were asked to fill out the appropriate forms to let us know, the nanny state, the Labour Party, how many poultry specimens you had on your property, how many chickens, ducks, geese, and so forth. And most people diligently filled out the appropriate forms and sent them into our offices. And we really are bowled over by the feedback we've got from this wonderful campaign of ours. However, and there's always a however, because you'll always get some troublemakers. Now, one individual filled out a form and he said in the form that he was in possession of one big hairy cock. Now, we immediately said something's not right here because cocks are feathery, they're birds, so hairy would mean a mammal. We thought this guy was probably fibbing. Maybe he's fibbing, maybe he's trying to waste our time. So, we said a measured response is needed here, a measured response. So we sent in the British Army. Now, it turned out he didn't even live on a farm. He lived in an apartment in a massive tower block. And he did not have any poultry whatsoever. Now, for fibbing to the nanny state, to the Labour Party, that man has been shipped off to the Shetland Islands to do hard labour for 20 years. So when you're filling out the forms, don't try and be funny, don't try and be a prankster, because you're going to pay the full price. We do not take kindly to misinformation and silliness, okay? I would also like to say that starting next month, we will be upping the ante on the stock take of people's homes by including all egg-related things that they have. So if you've got eggs in your fridge, we want to know how many eggs you've got in your fridge. We want to know how many egg cups you have, how many egg timers you have, and next spring we'll also want to know how many Easter eggs you have. So, we just want to know the contents of your properties, because in the future we do plan dawn raids and we do plan to confiscate everything that you own. So, pretty simple, and I think you'll agree, pretty fair communism at play here in Britain today, okay? So I told you about the prankster who said he had a big hairy cock, which was a lie because cocks are feathery, not hairy. There was another little tosser who filled out a form and said that he'd gone out to his back garden and he'd counted 3 pigeons, 15 sparrows, and 2 robins. And he sent that form into our offices. Now, robins, sparrows, and pigeons are not poultry. They're not poultry. I don't know what this guy was trying to play at. Maybe he thought he was being smarty pants, but I can tell you he's not a smarty pants today, because we took a very measured approach with this guy. We took a very measured approach. We sent in the military, we arrested him, we lined him up against a wall, and we blew his brains out. Pretty simple stuff, and pretty fair. You'll have to agree. It's pretty fair. So don't try and be a smarty pants. We want to know about chickens, ducks, geese, birds like pigeons, robins, and sparrows should not be included in your forms, okay? Pretty simple stuff. Now, someone said, what about ostriches? Should ostriches be included in the forms? Yes, if you do have an ostrich, include it in the appropriate form. Now, someone phoned up the hotline and asked about the platypus. Should the platypus be included in the forms? Because they said it's a mammal. We need to spend millions and millions of British pounds, taxpayers' money, to come to the conclusion whether the platypus will be included or not in the forms, okay? So it'll take many, many months, many tribunals, but in the end we do hope to reach a resolution, and we'll be able to declare whether the platypus will be included as poultry or not. This is your Prime Minister, Keir Chicken-Starmer. There's a famous expression, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Actually, please count your chickens before they hatch and write it all down in the appropriate forms. Keir Chicken-Starmer, once again, and shalom.